Most students are back to school or heading that way, and with the school starting back comes the start back of fall sports. Very important to make sure your child is ready to go. And joining us to talk those fall sports physicals and back to school tips is HMG pediatrician and Kingsport Dr. Danielle Stevens. Dr. Stevens, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
This is really game on time for families, and working in one more trip to the pediatrician when the kid ain't even sick.
Right.
It's like, what?
Yep.
But this is required, right? And recommended for you when? When do you want a parent to bring a child in?
We recommend starting sports physicals definitely by the middle school age, but we recommend a yearly physical starting at the age of 3 and going from there. So schools start to require them at the middle school age, but definitely important to do that yearly physical. And the sports physical is part of the yearly physical. So going back to saying multiple trips, you can do it all in one trip, which really helps with families.
You know, it makes sense to me that schools would want to make sure the kids have had their physicals. They don't want them playing hurt.
Exactly.
But for you as a pediatrician, why do you love the idea of an annual sports physical for a child who's playing some sort of active lifestyle?
So we check a lot of things that are really important specific to sports, like cardiac function being the first thing that comes to mind. We need to check and make sure you don't have a heart murmur that's never been found before. And that way it can be evaluated if it's there. Checking those vital signs and making sure the blood pressure is appropriate, that's really important. And then just general health of the body from head to toe, as well as mental health. That's important for sports too. So it's really important to do it yearly, because if there's problems, we can't address them if we don't see them.
I'm amazed when I drive by and see these. Well, I'm amazed. I was my kids, they were there at one point. Little guys playing at the age of 3. When do you really think it's a good idea to get your child in for a sports physical?
I mean, I start doing the things really at school age, at 5 or 6. Once they hit middle school, we probably get a little bit more involved, but I'm checking muscles and bones and heart function and everything, even at the elementary school ages. So if a sport is part of what the child is doing, then I'm going to do those things as part of my physical exam to make sure the child is healthy.
You mentioned that mental component. That is something I think we're really starting to get more of a handle on, the critical need for it. I'd love to hear your take on that. How much of a part of that is that wellness component that we need to get a hold of?
That's huge. We ask about mental health at every checkup, and it's becoming more and more of an issue that we have to deal with, especially since COVID became a thing. And so one of the biggest things that can help your mental health is staying active and leading a healthy lifestyle, in addition to being part of a team. So that goes into a sports physical as well, and if there are mental health problems, we can address them as part of that checkup too.
We've got less than a minute left, but I'm thinking there's probably some moms and dads and grandmas today going, I'd love for my kid to be in a sport. They're pretty inactive. You know, they're on this thing all day long.
Absolutely.
You know, what's your message to a mom and dad? You know, if you are not in a sport, it's going to be hard to get there for the fall, but to get to start a healthy, active lifestyle.
Get outside. At this time of year, you know, in the evening, early morning, get outside, get at least 30 minutes, if not an hour of physical activity daily. Just start walking, go outside and shoot basketball, anything to get your heart beating fast and sweating a little bit, and just build from there. And
that's going to help that mental health too, isn't it?
Absolutely.
In a big way. Dr. Danielle Stevens, thank you very much. We appreciate you. She's with HMG, and you're at the Stone Drive office
in Kingsport.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your expertise.